Oh, okay. So Randy Major here. Where would you guys rank our defense after last night going into the regular season? I'm glad you asked this
Go
because
on.
I think that we did not talk about Paulson Adebo enough at the top of the show. And Paulson Adebo has been a star in camp. And I think it was fair to wonder how that might translate to a real game, right? With the physicality, can he get away with that level of physicality in a game? Is he going to get flagged constantly? And what we saw last night, yeah, I mean, it worked. He actually drew an offensive pass interference against, I can't remember who the receiver was, but it was downfield. And it was on a play where, the DB is at a disadvantage. Marcus May came up and he got sent on a blitz. I believe it was PJ Williams in deep center, playing that deep safety. And so you have Paulson Adebo playing press man on the outside. He's on an island. Davis Mills sees that. He sees the pressure. He makes the right read, and he throws a 50-50 ball. And, and Paulson Adebo was a blanket. He had no chance to catch that ball. He actually did catch the ball, but it was because he took his arm and shoved him out of the way so he could catch it, and he still came down out of bounds. But PJ Williams also got over the top. And if these are the guys who you can't complete a pass against, if you can't attack that matchup, who are you attacking? You're going at Marshawn on the opposite side of the field. You're going at CJ in the slot. You're trying to sneak something in under Tyrann Mathieu deep. I mean, this defense, assuming the run stuffers do their job, which, as we talked about, they didn't last night. But again, you didn't have Onyemata or Cam Jordan in there. I mean, this defense has a chance to be scary good. I don't know. I don't know how I could rank it just because I'm guessing at the relative talent levels of so many NFL teams that I haven't watched yet, right? Like gauging a defense is a lot harder than gauging an offensive skill set because you can kind of say, okay, skill player, quarterback, and yeah, that's a good offense. But this has a chance to be the best defense in the NFL. I don't know if they will be, but from a talent level perspective, if you can't throw the ball and you can just load up against the run, I mean, they're going to be good.
Yeah, we know it's a passing league, and you rattle off all those names that this team has in the secondary. And another guy we didn't see last night, Marcus May. He did play actually.
We did see Marcus May for a few snaps, and we saw Bradley Roby starting across from Paulson Adebo. Bradley Roby, former Texan, so it was kind of a homecoming game for him. He's a guy who probably won't even be on the starting line. He would be starting for, I would guess, a majority of NFL teams. He's probably going to be the CB3. Alontae Taylor, a second-round pick, is going to be premium depth at the cornerback positions. I mean, you're in a situation where you could have guys go down with injuries, and the guys you're bringing in are, starting caliber players. And that's just, I mean, the talent level is insane on this defense. And the only questions I have are at the will linebacker spot. And I think you can figure that out. If you have to figure anything out, I think that's the position you can figure it out.
And then you talk about health too. The concern, obviously, on the defensive end, I just want to see Cam Jordan have some consistent support on the other side of him between Davenport, another guy who didn't play last night, and with Peyton Turner. I want to see more of, being a game factor instead of just a practice guy.
Yeah, and Reed Wilson is a good point. And we'll get out of here soon. But, Paulson Adebo, I don't know if he would have been a first-round pick, but he would have been in consideration to be a first-round pick, no question. It would have been I think it would have depended on what he did in that kind of final year at Stanford for where he would have gone. But there was definitely a potential to work up into the first round, but he opted out, and the Saints kind of stole him in the third round of last year's draft. And I think it's gonna end up going down as another one of these incredible third round draft picks that the Saints have, because you go back and it's like that's where they get the majority of their star draft picks. Michael Thomas was a second rounder, that's a rare one, but Jimmy Graham was a third rounder, Akeem Hicks was a third rounder, I think Teron Armstead was a third rounder, Alvin Kamara was a third rounder. There's probably one that I'm missing, but then Paulson Adebo. So if this defense holds up, this is that's why when I say, like, the national kind of media on the subject always tries to discount the Saints because of Jameis Winston. And I kind of respond to that like, if the defense is good enough, all the quarterback has to do is play the right way, and you can get deep into the playoffs. You know, Jimmy Garoppolo made a Super Bowl, right? And now the 49ers are trying to move on from him, but like he got them there, right? So it's not a question of whether you can, it's a question of, okay, can you complement the defense? Not can you win in spite of the defense? And that's what was asked of Drew Brees for so long. If Drew Brees had this defense at his peak, if you're talking 2014 Drew Brees with this defense, I don't even know. I mean, it would have been a bloodbath. And so you're just looking to Jameis to be consistent, and I think he can be that.
Yeah, we're hoping that, and we know he has a tweaked foot, which ends up being we found out a sprained foot for him. Yeah, and I'm interested to see what comes of him this week in Green Bay and leading up to the game. If he does end up practicing, will we see him in action, or do they hold him off to the preseason finale? It's kind of weird now with 3 games on, how you gauge where you're playing the bulk of your starters here.
Yeah. And I think we're going to end up seeing. I still don't think we're going to see Jameis. Even if Jameis is healthy, I'd be surprised if we see him in this game. Just because I think the third preseason game now is much more attractive to get those guys in there, because you don't have to worry about, okay, we're going right into week 1. You have that open week. Yeah. So I think if we see Jameis, it'll be week 3. I don't know if we'll see Mike Thomas. I don't know if we'll see a lot of these guys, but we're not going to have much time to wonder. It's going to be right on us on Friday. Another 7:00 start. They have 3 7:00 starts in the preseason and 3 7:00 starts in the regular season.
We're prime time preseason action, baby.
Yeah, that prime time. We have 2 Friday night starts coming at you.